A very warm welcome to everybody this morning. I hope you're all well. Welcome to today's webinar in collaboration with Workforce Singapore. My name is David Kelly. I'm the Executive Director of the British Chamber of Commerce, and again, a warm welcome to you all. As we go through this presentation, we're really delighted to have SGUnited to present to our members on some of the packages that are available to support the agenda here in terms of upskilling and creating jobs locally here in Singapore, which the Chamber plays a very important part in as well. I would like to start by thanking our Future of Work partners, Prudential Assurance Company in Singapore, for their support of this campaign. Without their support of our valued partners, we could not deliver fantastic content like this, so a big thank you to them. So this really kicks off a bit of a really interesting programme for the Chamber. Looking forward to sort of hearing the thoughts and the opportunities available from SGUnited and the jobs and the skills packages that they have. The Chamber will also be running a manpower survey for our members to understand the feelings and thoughts of companies here in Singapore. And then later next month, on the 13th of November, we have a roundtable discussion with the Minister of Manpower, Josephine Teo. So a really important part of our programming is kicking off with this discussion today. Following a short presentation, there is an opportunity for you to post your questions, so please do use the Q&A facility, and these will be addressed by our panel of speakers at the end of the presentation. So without further ado, I will invite Glenton to share more on SGUnited's jobs and skills packages. Glenn, a very warm welcome to you, and over to you.
Thank you very much, David. So good morning, everyone. Let me just get the slides up on the screen before we proceed. Okay. And here we go. Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Glenn. I'm from the Enterprise Programs Division of Workforce Singapore. And today I'll be sharing with you on the SGUnited Jobs and Skills Package. So as mentioned by David, at the end of our presentation, we will be doing a Q&A session to address any questions you might have with regards to the package. And my colleagues, Renee and Wilson, will be happy to take on those questions. So just a heads up, this presentation will be recorded. And if you guys would like a copy of the recording or the slides, you can reach out to Helen from BritCham for it. So with that, let us begin. So the SGUnited Jobs and Skills Package was announced earlier this year to provide support to close to 100,000 job seekers. And this will be done by scaling up job opportunities, opening up traineeships, and offering training programs. The SGUnited Jobs and Skills Package is supported by these three pillars. And these three pillars are also in turn supported by the respective programs under them. So under the jobs pillar, we have SGUnited Jobs Initiative, we have the Jobs Growth Incentive, and we have the Professional Conversion Programs and the Rank and File Programs. And as for the traineeships pillar, we have the SGUnited Mid-Career Pathways Company Attachments Program, and also the Attach and Train. And for the last pillar, under the skills pillar, we have SGUnited Skills. So for today, I'll be running through all of them. So feel free to raise any questions you might have on them. So let us start first with the jobs pillar. So the jobs pillar seeks to support companies that are looking to hire during this period of time. So first up, what we have is the SGUnited Jobs Initiative. So this initiative facilitates and expedites job matches for short-term and long-term vacancies. So companies that are keen to participate in this initiative can go to our National Jobs Bank that is free to use for everyone, called mycareersfuture.gov.sg, to post their job vacancies with the hashtag SGUnitedJobs in order to reach out to a pool of active job seekers. And companies can also partner with trade association and chambers or the Singapore Business Federation to seek their assistance with intra-sector and inter-sector job matching. And the Trade Association and the Singapore Business Federation will also be in a position to support the outplacement of workers in companies with excess capacity at the moment. So on each of the slides, you will notice that we have a QR code. So we do recommend for you to scan the QR code if you would like more in-depth information on that particular program. Yep. So moving on, for those who are looking to hire during this period of time, they will also be able to tap on the jobs growth incentive. So the jobs growth incentive aims to accelerate and encourage companies to hire during this period of September 2020 to February 2021. So under the jobs growth incentive, also known as JGI, salary support will be provided for each new local hire that will be subjected to 2 criteria. So the first criteria is that companies must first achieve an increase in overall local workforce size, and the job must pay at least $1,400. And if the new hire is aged below 40, the JGI will cover 25% of the first 5,000 of the gross monthly salary. And if the new hire is age 40 and above, or a person with disabilities, it will be 50% of the gross monthly salary, of the first 5,000 of the gross monthly salary instead. And much like the job support scheme, which was rolled out during this period as well, the jobs growth incentive will be automatically dispersed in March 2021 based on CPF contributions, and firms do not need to apply for it. So it is an automatic program. Yep. Okay, so next up we have is our professional conversion programs, so also known as our PCPs. So our PCPs are career conversion programs that allow for mid-career PMETs, the professionals, managers, executives, and technicians to undergo industry-recognized skills conversion and move into growth areas with good prospects and opportunities for progression. And when employers tap on the program, they will be able to receive up to 90% of salary support for the training duration and cost fee subsidy when they hire through a PCP. So currently under WSG, we offer almost 100 PCPs over close to 30 sectors. So for companies that have PMETs, they are also in vulnerable positions or at risk of redundancy. They can also tap on the redeployment or job redesign reskilling to allow their existing staff to reskill and take on new roles in growth areas within the company. So let me just show you an example of what a professional conversion program looks like. So an example of a PCP is this PCP for Southeast Asia Ready Talent that prepares PMETs for a career in wholesale trade. Mid-career switchers will undergo a 9-month training program that comprises of 3 months of classroom training and 6 months of structured on-the-job training, followed by a summative project. So ultimately, the PMET will go through extensive training that covers the following modules such as strategic decision-making in international market, corporate tax planning, and crisis management and communication. And we already have some companies, as shown on the screen, that have sent their new hires for this program. And these new hires tend to stay in the company for a long period of time and also be able to contribute to the business functions of the company. So similar to the PCPs, but for rank and file workers instead, the rank and file program provides training and salary support to help individuals in rank and file jobs to reskill to take on new or enhanced job roles. So similar to the PCPs, employers will be able to receive up to 90% of salary support for the training duration and cost fee subsidy when they hire a local. Companies can also send their rank and file employees that are at risk of redundancy for redeployment or job redesign reskilling to keep their existing staff for new roles within the company. So to compare with what you've seen for the PCP, here's an example of what a rank and file program looks like. This is the PNT, Place and Train for Medical Technology Operator. So you will notice that the training duration of this is shorter as compared to a PCP at 3 months and comprises of only 1 month of classroom training and 2 months of structured on-the-job training in order for the rank and file worker to become a job-ready medical technology operator. So with that, we'll now move on over to the traineeships pillar that helps companies to build their talent pipeline for the eventual recovery. Under the traineeships pillar, we have the SGUnited Mid-Career Pathways Program Company Attachments. This program allows for companies to take on mid-career individuals on attachments on top of their usual hiring capacity, as long as they're able to offer the individual with meaningful development opportunities for them to pick up new skills and become more employable. Host organizations can benefit from the wealth of experience that mid-career individuals bring with them and consider hiring well-performing individuals when business conditions improve. So these attachments can last up to 9 months and must commence by 31st March 2021. And for the duration of the attachment, the government will fund 80% of the training allowance, which has a maximum range of $3,000.
I'm sorry about that. I think we have a slight technical hitch. We'll just give it a couple of minutes just to see if we can get Glenn back.
Hi, am I back?
You're back. Thanks, Glenn. Well handled. Sorry about that. You might just need to share your slides again.
Yep, sure. Let me go back to it.
Technology is wonderful when it works, isn't it?
Okay, if I'm not wrong, we were stuck here. We were stopped here at this slide. Yep. So is it all right if I resume?
Yes, please do. Thanks, Glenn.
Right,
sorry
sure.
about that.
Yep, no problem. Yeah. Okay. So as mentioned, the training allowance range that can be offered to the individual who is on this attachment is $1,400 to $3,000, and of which the government will fund 80%. So the roles that can be offered for this would stretch across both rank and file roles as well as PMET roles. Yep. Okay. So also under the traineeships pillar, we have the attach and train programs. So under the attach and train programs, companies in growth sectors can work with sector agencies and training providers to offer structured training to mid-career PMETs for them to undergo industry-recognized training to prepare them for future job opportunities. Under this program, the government will provide a training allowance to the trainees, and the host employers will co-fund at least 10% of the training allowance. And upon the completion of the program, companies can hire from this pool of experienced trainees for full-time roles. So let me go through an example of the attach and train program. So an example of this is the A&T archetype for embedded software developers. So mid-career switchers will undergo 9 months of training that includes 6 months of classroom training conducted by the training provider. So in this case, it would be DigiPen, and then go for a 3 months of structured on-the-job training with host employers like Continental or ST Engineering. And following the completion of the program, trainees would be in a better state to secure full-time employment with their new capabilities, and companies would then also gain access to a skilled worker who has been through an intensive program such as this. Okay, and now for the skills pillar, where companies can offer training programs to build a talent pipeline for their industry. So under the SGUnited Skills program, companies can collaborate with training providers to develop SGUnited Skills courses and offer work attachments or project work opportunities. Companies will also be able to benefit by getting priority access to talent when they interact on the course. And during this period when the company is offering the training program, trainees will receive a monthly training allowance that will be fully funded by the government at $1,200. So an example of a SGUnited Skills program is the Specialist Diploma in Building Information Modeling, Management and Facilities Management. So this SGUnited Skills program is curated for the built environment sector with Singapore Polytechnic as the training provider. The course construct comprises of common modules, specialized modules, and project work in leading BE firms for them to apply what was learned in the workplace. So the built environment firms such as CapitaLand, They also support trainees through fireside chats and company leaders to give trainees, fireside chats with company leaders to give trainees a holistic exposure to the sector. And at the end of it, host companies will also get priority access to graduating talents. So under the SGUnited Skills program, we also have a suite of ICT courses, such as the Associate UI UX Designer, and that's offered by NTUC Learning Hub, and the Digital Marketing program that's offered by Lytton. So these ICT courses helps to equip learners with ICT skills for them to embark on a career to provide them with a skill set that is in demand in the ICT sector today. So companies can also approach SkillsFuture Singapore's appointed program managers to offer work opportunities as part of the SGUnited Skills or hire job-ready SGUnited Skills graduate. Yep, so with that, we've actually come to the end of the presentation, and we'll go into the Q&A segment. So for you to raise your questions, do raise them in the Q&A function of Zoom, and I'll be moderating the questions just in case similar ones pops up, and my colleagues Wilson and Renee will be addressing them. So feel free to raise them in the Q&A session. Okay, so first up, we have a question here by Helen, who is asking a question about how long the financial support lasts for. So if I'm not wrong, Helen, would this be in reference to the jobs growth incentive?
Yes, I think it was, Glenn. I think it was,
okay,
yeah.
Sure. Yep. Okay, so let me just go back to the jobs growth incentive slide. Okay, and maybe for this one, I'll get my colleague Wilson to address it. So Wilson, I think the question here is, how long will the financial support for under the jobs growth incentive last for?
So in this case, the financial incentive will be up to 12 months from the point of hire. So basically it's 12 months unless the individual leaves before the 12-month period, in which the incentive will end at the point the individual leaves.
Yeah. Thank you, Wilson. Okay, so we have another program, another question here from that asks, is this program mainly geared towards engineering and tech type roles? What about other professions such as marketing and finance? So I believe that this would be with regards to maybe the PCPs and the rank and file programs. So Wilson, over to you. Yeah.
So actually, the examples that Glenn listed are just a snapshot of the programs that we do have. Actually, we have close to about 90 programs in over 20 plus sectors. So for example, apart from the more technical facing programs, like those in the ICT, engineering sectors, we also have programs for digital marketing, programs for say hotels, programs for say professional services firms, like say financial forensic accounting, internal audit, and so on. So actually it's a quite wide range of programs, and we encourage you to visit the website to look for suitable programs that might fit your needs.
Yep, so the websites can be found on the QR code on the screen. And okay, the next question we have is, what are the criteria for PCP redesign or reskilling?
Okay, so to share a little more on this, the intent of the redeployment and redesign reskilling programs is for companies who have workforce at risk. So for example, if nothing is done, there's a chance that the company may have to actually make these individuals redundant. So where the government comes in is that we partner with the companies to help the companies redeploy these individuals to new job roles. So in this case, on a case-by-case basis, the WSG will have a conversation with the company, or the company could have a conversation with the program partners to discuss further on whether certain job roles that the company may think that you're at risk, and then you'll be a joint assessment with WSG. And if we do think that, okay, there's a good opportunity for us to work with the company, that's when we'll come in and support. Yeah.
Okay, and we have another question here that's asking about the administrative requirements required to fulfill for the programs.
Okay, so for example, for the professional, maybe I'll just use the conversion program and the traineeships program as an example. Okay, So for the conversion program, the administrative requirement, of course, the most basic is to apply for the program. But after the individual is, let's say as part of the application process, there will be certain documentation required. For example, for new hires, we may ask for the person's CV to check is the person in a similar job role in the past, and does he require conversion? After the person is onboarded onto the program, then there's let's say there's a monthly reporting in which the company may report. Yeah, it may differ from program to program, but in some cases it might be monthly, some cases might be a bit longer, to report the progress of the individual on the program. And when you submit claims, some basic documentation like say the CPF records, the salary slip, and so on. So as another example, I'll use the traineeships program as an example. So for the traineeships program, similarly there's the attachment program, sorry. Similarly, there's an application process in which the company will fill in the application form with the Singapore Business Federation. As part of the form, the company may also highlight what are the development plans for the trainees or attachees finally selected. The SBF will do some vetting of this and onboard individuals onto the program. After individuals are onboarded, so there'll be some basic checks. Does the person meet the requirements of the program? And of course, there'll be a monthly check-in to say if the individual is meeting the development goals of the program. And of course, the claims process, which will submit some basic information, such as just proof of payment. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Wilson. Okay, so the next question we have is there an expectation to retain the talent through these programs when the economy picks up? This is what we would like to do as a business, but what happens if the economic landscape changes?
Okay, so yeah, as Glenn shared, as you shared, firstly, I think when all companies hire individuals, we all take it on good faith that there's this intent to groom the individual and take him on as a long-term hire. We also recognize that there are times where the economic situation may change, and some conditions may be outside the control of companies. So we in our programs, we generally do not penalize companies. So for example, if retrenchment takes place and the individual has to be let go, I think this is quite very unfortunate for everyone involved, but there will be no additional penalties involved. But just to clarify also, what happens is typically our salary support will stop at the point the individual leaves the company. So for example, for PCP, the support will stop at the point the individual leaves. For traineeships, the principle is the same, and so on.
Okay, and the next question we have is, are any of the incentives applicable to non-Singaporeans?
Okay, so I'll say quite a lot of the programs that we share are typically open to locals. So for locals, there will be Singaporeans and permanent residents. So the majority of our training funding, so is geared towards helping companies develop a local core, and therefore that's where our funding is targeted towards.
Okay, and the next question we have is, would small businesses be looked upon favorably for these various programs?
In fact, I think we are quite open to work with all companies in all, both large and small companies. In fact, we think that both large and small companies have a part to play in the economy. The large companies have bring in the scale. The small companies, of course, they also bring in quite a lot of unique perspectives, unique training opportunities for individuals. So in fact, we are open to work with all sorts of companies as long as they meet the requirements for the program and are committed to developing the individuals they take on.
Okay. The next question we have is, how long does the application process take? So I believe this question, it's stretched broadly. So I think for this one, I believe that it will depend on the program specific that you're applying for. But I think maybe we can talk about this in terms of maybe the PCP, one of our most popular programs, and also maybe how about the SGUnited Mid-Career Pathways program, also another popular program that companies have been taking up during this period of time. Yeah.
Okay, so for the professional conversion program, as it's a collection of programs, the experience may differ based on the specific conversion program that the person signs up for. For example, let's say if a person signs up for a conversion program for international trade versus a conversion program for say ICT talent, it may differ a bit. But there's a broad range. Typically, once a company engages a program manager, the program manager will get back to the company within around 1 to 2 weeks to start the process. Then usually once let's say the application is in with all the required documentation, it should be fairly fast. So within a month or so. In fact, it could be even faster, depending on the program manager. Okay, so the other one is the traineeships program. So firstly, we apologize in advance that because of the very strong demand from the industry, in fact, we are quite glad to have this very strong support from industry. There's been quite overwhelming demand for the program. So we also appreciate a lot of companies' patience in this matter. But right now, generally, when a company contacts the Singapore Business Federation, within around a week, the Business Federation will get back to the company with an application form. And once the application form is ready, I think the Business Federation aims to get back with the approval around 4 to 6 weeks, but trying to push this down to as fast as possible.
Okay, and the next question that we have is, can you talk through some of the specifics of the process and who we need to approach to come on board the programs? So I believe we actually have the QR code on the screen. So I think, there's quite a lot of programs that we ran through today. I would recommend visitors to actually scan the QR code to go onto the respective web pages so that you would be able to find out who to approach for the respective programs. Because each of the programs are actually run by specific program managers. So there would be a different application process involved for them. And alternatively, you guys can also drop us an email. So I believe, we will also be able to facilitate your interest from there. And over to you, Wilson, if you have anything else to add.
So I think Nan's advice is we recommend for companies to just check the QR codes because each program is a little different. And I think, of course, if you need any further assistance beyond that, feel free to email us. We will help out with this.
Okay, and the next question we have is, how do you match talent to the company?
I think could we clarify if the company is referring to a specific program?
Okay, so they don't mention a specific program here, but I think we can try to approach this from the perspective of maybe My Careers Future and maybe the PCP program portal.
Okay, sure. Okay, so maybe I'll just use the conversion program as an example. In general, we allow for various routes for individuals to come on board the program and for companies to select their talent. So for under the conversion program, if the company is able to find the individual themselves, let's say through your own HR recruitment, through your own networks, and then of course then we also allow for the company to onboard this individual onto the program. However, for companies who say, hey, maybe they need this additional push or help to look for talent, we have some additional options available. One of them is the My Careers Future portal, which is a national jobs portal. So companies can post their jobs there for free. And of course, they will then get applicants from the general public who will apply for the program. For the conversion program itself, what we have also done is that we have set up an individual application portal for various individuals who are interested to sign up for this program. What happens is that once individuals sign up for the program, all their CVs are then deposited with the respective program managers. So our partners who run, our program managers are the partners who run these programs. So when the company signs up for this program with the program manager, most of these partners already have on hand a group of CVs or group of job applicants who may be keen to embark on the program. Companies can definitely approach the program managers for a quick look at this.
And just to add on to Wilson's answer, under the SGUnited Jobs initiative, companies can also leverage on the network of our trade association and chambers and also the Singapore Business Federation to help with job matching. So what will happen under the SGUnited Jobs initiative? So there's two stages to it. One of them, okay, let me just pull it up on the screen again. Okay, so one of the options under here is for companies to simply go onto mycareersfuture.gov.sg and for them to post a job with the hashtag SGUnitedJobs. So this is a special hashtag that we are pushing out in order to help companies to access a pool of active job seekers. And the next one is other approach that you can go about the SGUnited Jobs initiative is to actually go and tap onto the network of our trade association and chambers and the Singapore Business Federation. So this can be done by going to our website, and then from there you can actually receive the contact details of the TNC and the and the Singapore Business Federation. So what they will do after you reach out to them is that they will send you something called a jobs order form. So the jobs order form is an Excel sheet that will comprise of both your hiring demands as well as your excess capacity if you have those. And you will fill in the details of the workers and the skill sets that they possess, or the skill set that you require, and then you submit it to your the trade association and the Singapore Business Federation. And what they will do amongst themselves is that they will leverage on their respective networks in order to find you the best fit. Okay, so actually this question is also related to the WSG Virtual Career Fair question that just popped up. So for you to participate in the WSG Virtual Career Fairs, it's quite, you just basically have to use the My Careers Future platform. So we run specific virtual career fairs depending on what we find is in demand, or let's say sought after in the market. So for instance, we have run SGUnited Jobs Career Fair. We have run SGUnited Traineeships Career Fairs. And we have also run, sector-specific career fairs, virtual career fairs. So for companies to get involved, I would recommend for companies to first start posting on My Careers Future. And there would be an option for you to reach out to our colleagues if you would like to actually put your vacancies on virtual career fairs. Yeah. So this one, I mean, there would be some requirements on our part, but it would depend on what we think is what we will be pushing out under a virtual career fair at that point in time. So for instance, if there is a sector that we find that job seekers are looking heavily into, let's say finance or marketing, then we, on WSG side, we would make a decision to run that specific sector's VCF. And if you happen to be offering a role during that period of time, what we will do is that we will reach out to you as well to ask if you'll be keen to participate in this VCF. Yeah. So as a start, I would recommend for companies to get onto My Careers Future. And then if you're offering a role that is attractive or a role that we think that we can run a specific VCF for, we will reach out to you. Yeah. Okay. And then, sorry, I think there's another question here with regards to what is the best program for temporary capacity?
I think it depends a little on the what sort of temporary capacity you have. But maybe let me share a little more on the SGUnited Jobs initiative on the slide right now. So as Glenn mentioned, okay, maybe as a bit of background, we recognize that in this current economic situation, there are some companies that have a bit of excess manpower in the short term, and there are some companies that may need extra manpower in the short term. So this is where the TACs and SBF matching comes in. So what we try to do is that we will come for companies that say maybe due to a business slowdown in a certain business unit or a certain, let's say, maybe function. I have some people who maybe I don't want to release right now, but I want to find some meaningful employment for them in the short term. Similarly, there are some companies who experience a surge at this point in time because they say they need manpower for the short term, maybe not necessarily in the long term, but in the maybe next 1-2 months. This is where the TACs and SBF job matching comes in. So what we try to do is a facilitated match between companies who, let's say, have this excess manpower and companies who need this manpower. And that's where the trade associations and SBF comes in to do the matching as the middleman. So that's the initiative that Glenn shared earlier. If you're interested, sign up with the TACs or the SBF involved in this. Of course, another option for companies, of course, is to post these jobs under SGUnited, under My Careers Future. There are quite a lot of job seekers in the market right now who may be looking for temporary or gig jobs. Then in this case, this is where they'll go to the portal and also sign up for such jobs. So this might be the most immediate solution to companies who need manpower in the very short term and for a short period of time.
Okay, and the next question we have is, can we request for the slides? So for this, yes, the slides will be made available by Helen, and I think if you send a request to her, she will be able to send it over to you. Okay, so currently we don't have any open questions, but if you guys do have them, keep them coming and we will keep replying.
Glenn, I've got one, if I may, just to jump in. Thanks, that is really good sharing. Have you got sort of your top sort of 2 or 3 tips for businesses in approaching the various packages that are available? And have you also got some any sort of a company that's gone through the process and has been successful with this, and it's sort of worked for the applicant and it's worked for the company as well? Have you got any sort of success examples as well that you can share with our audience?
Sure. So I think, Wilson, the first question is, what are the top 2 tips we'll give to companies to tap onto the SGUnited Jobs and Skills package? Yeah, and the next question, the follow-up to that would then be, what are some successful companies that have embarked on our programs?
So for the first question, I think what we recommend is, okay, the SGUnited Jobs Initiative, Jobs and Skills Initiative may seem a little daunting, but what I'll do is I'll suggest a certain frame for companies to help to navigate the suite of initiatives that we have. So broadly, we actually have 3 pillars: jobs, traineeships, and skills. Okay, so the first question the company may want to look at is, what type of hiring needs do I have? Am I looking at long-term employment? In this case, this is jobs. So if I'm looking for long-term employment, I'll look at the skills under the jobs pillar. So this includes the SGUnited Jobs Initiative. That includes the professional conversion programs. So these programs are geared towards companies hiring individuals on a short or long term as employees. Especially for the conversion programs, this is where the job skills incentive conversion programs. This is where companies can help position themselves for the future or meeting their near-term manpower needs with government support. Okay, so for companies who say maybe I have a headcount freeze, or perhaps my business doesn't justify taking on individuals as a full-time hire at this point. In this case, this is where the group of traineeships apply. So traineeships such as the mid-career attachments, attach and train, provide opportunity for companies to nonetheless maybe take on individuals under traineeships to, for this could meet a range of objectives. This, could be talent development, to try out individuals, but where in situations where perhaps the company or the individual is maybe not that ready to commit, and also perhaps to also meet some short-term demand with the traineeships. So this provides other options for companies who are not able to hire right now, but also want to participate in the whole package. Of course, the last pillar is skills. While it's a little more relevant for individuals, there are also some companies who say, I have some training capacity. This is where they can perhaps participate as a company training partner and so on. So broadly, the first general frame is what sort of needs do companies have? And then based on this sort of needs, this can help filter down on the specific programs. Now, of course, then the second tip will be then, let's say if you zoom out to a program, just feel free to ask. We have provided links on all the programs that will direct you to say the associations or partners managing the programs. And of course, hearing from these associations partners will be the best way of understanding what the program is about, and of course, providing a very easy way of signing up for the programs if you're interested. Okay, so in terms of companies that have been successful in this, generally on the, let's say, on various media, there are some companies who have mentioned that they're taking on a lot of some of these programs. And these are the companies that work with profile in the near term. That includes, say Singtel in the ICT space. There's Tata Consulting that's taken the range of these programs. I think there are companies like DBS and others that have been quite supportive and have taken a large number of traineeships. Yeah.
And I think to add on also, we do have quite a lot of SMEs as well who has tapped onto these programs. Maybe, okay, just to name a few, I think we have Yankee Logistics, who was recently in the news regarding taking up of offering traineeships to fresh graduates during this period of time. What we mainly see from all these companies is that the programs have helped to reduce the barriers of entry for them to take on people to try them out in new roles. And that is more specific for the attachments and the traineeships. But when we look at the professional conversion programs or the rank and file programs, this reduces the barrier of entry for companies to take up someone who is from a different background, someone who can bring in that kind of fresh perspective and to be able to undergo industry recognized skills training so as to help them to level up to take on this new role in this particular growth areas. And so, for example, we have companies who have leveraged on the professional conversion programs in the retail space. So these are retailers who are in the who during COVID-19 period, they actually wanted to pivot over to e-commerce so that they are able to still continue their operations and to be able to reach out to a wider group of audience. So for instance, in this case, they were able to tap onto our professional conversion program for a retail expert. If I'm not wrong, it's called a retail experts or something like that, so that they would be able to take in new people who would then be trained in the field of e-commerce so that they can pivot their business in order to find their relevance in this new setting that we have. So we have a myriad of professional conversion programs out there, so close to 100. So we do recommend for companies to actually take a look at the list that we have in order to see which kind of conversion programs will be most suitable for you to add to your ranks. Yep. Okay, so the next question we have is, where can we find the list of program managers for various sectors, for instance, engineering, so that we can talk about our needs?
So on our side, I think we have, for the conversion programs, because there are so many programs, so what we have tried to do is we have listed all these programs on a central web page. I believe it should be in the link, but if not, it's convergence.mycareersfuture.com. Yeah. So under that web page, right, it actually lists all the programs available by sector. So companies can either filter by sector or just go through the whole group of programs if the manpower needs might cut across various sectors. And under each of this, under the listing of each program, the full details of which are the program managers that are all inside. Yeah.
Okay, and I think that's pretty much all the questions that we have for now. So yeah, feel free to ask if you do have any more questions. Okay. I think then if there's no more questions, then we'll end the session here and we'll pass the time back to David, who will close us off. Over to you, David.
Thank you very, very much indeed, Glenn. Thanks for your sharing, and also well done on the technical glitch earlier. There's nothing worse than going through a presentation on somebody else's platform, not knowing at which end it's all gone wrong. So thank you, really, really good. And thanks also, Wilson, for your sharing and your input today. And to the audience for all of the questions. Some really, really good questions have come through there. And we will make sure that this recording is available for members. I think there's a lot of content in there, a lot of options to support companies as well. So thank you very much. And we will, of course, share the slides. So just in closing, the Chamber has got some fantastic webinars coming up. In particular, I do want to re-highlight the dialogue that we have with the Minister for Manpower, Josephine Teo, on the 13th of November. There may be questions today which we were not able to answer, so please do join us on the 13th, where you can also direct some of your questions around manpower to the Minister, where there is a live extended open discussion, so looking like a really good event. And the session will be closed door and therefore not recorded, so please do make sure you register beforehand. And very finally, you will receive a feedback form. Please do fill that in. That helps the Chamber to keep refining, improving, and putting content out for our members. So please do let us know what you thought of today. And finally, thank you very, very much. And I hope to see you all again very soon. And thanks to the SGUnited team as well for your time today. Thank you.